Elizabeth, does one believe that it could ever be reasonable to give an ultimatum in a relationship?
Yes, but with caveats.
Yes,
so
I thought it wouldn't be
the ultimatum isn't a you do this or else. It's a if you don't do this, I'm going to have to look after my needs. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not a you need to take this action or you'll be sorry. It's a okay, well, I would like this, and if I can't get that, then I'm going to have to think about my role in the relationship. You know, it's more saying it's setting a boundary for yourself rather than ultimatum for someone else. Does that make sense?
Yes. So the important first step is maybe redefining or it's giving this ultimatum, this healthier ultimatum, its own category. Is that
well,
it?
because, for example, I've given one to an ex where I said, look, I really would like to get married. And so I just take the focus off them. I'm like, I want to get married.
Yes.
And I really hope that's to you. But if it's not, and you're not keen on that, I'm going to need you to let me know so that I can make an informed decision about the future of our relationship. That's not me saying propose or I'm out. That's me saying, here's what I want. And if you can't give that to me, then I'm going to have to think about what's going to happen in the future.
Yes, interesting.
You know, it's just not blaming the behavior on somebody else. It's not putting the burden of behavior on someone else. Like they're free to not want what you want. They just need to let you know so that you can choose whether you can do without it or not.
Is it not just, are we not just rebranding, but it's the same thing anyway? If your partner smokes, say, and your ultimatum to them is stop smoke, cut down or stop or quit smoking by X. Otherwise, I don't see how I can stay in this relationship.
I don't think I would say to someone stop smoking. I think I would say I don't like being around that.
Gambling, whatever. Choose your.
Yeah. So rather than saying you need to stop smoking or you need to stop drinking, I'd say if you can't, then I'm going to have to think about what I want to do about this because this is not something that I can be around. So it's taking full responsibility that you're not trying to control somebody else's behavior. You're saying this is my boundary, and if you can't, behave within that boundary, then I will make a decision on what I would like to do with that.
Yes.
I just don't think you should don't do that, shake finger at other people. It's all got to be based on you deciding what you want to do.
So there is room for the ultimatum in a relationship, but it has to be.
It's almost like a self-ultimatum.
You have to tweak it more. The language has to be nicer. The delivery, the intention behind it.
Less blamey. It's just if you can't do what I need, then I'm gonna think about what I want to do about that.
Here is a problem I have an issue with. I need, so come from your,
It's reframing it, absolutely, so that you are boundary setting for yourself rather than controlling somebody else's behaviour, I believe.
And you're probably much more likely to get a result than a black and white. Right, by this date, I want this behaviour curve.
Honestly, if somebody ever
I'm out of here.
set me a boundary like that, in that way, like you need to change this by this date, I'd be like, I'm going to do it 50 times more up until that date. Goodbye.
Yes, that's right.
Welcome to Ghosts of Boyfriends Past. I'm Liz Best.
And I'm Tom Harris, one to ponder over everybody at home.
I think I want to paint... I can't word. Beep, beep. I want to make a note to ask this question of any ultimatums that people have set and what the result
Successful,
was.
unsuccessful, grown up and mature
Write
or
in
childish.
And tell us.
Yeah, let's hear it. Well, welcome to the show, one, and hello, and welcome to the show, all. You know what we're doing by now, all of you seasoned readers of this here little podcast.
And if you don't, we've got a fair few episodes you can listen to get up to speed. If this is your first episode, welcome. But we're not going to go over everything as much. You can just listen to the rest of our back catalogue because that's the energy levels that I have today.
But one inescapable fact is this show requires a guest. At least our main long episodes do. And we have a returning guest on the show today. It's very exciting. Not a first time.
Jackie and the Tractor Date. We got Jackie Azorio.
Hello.
Come on down, Jacqueline.
Thanks for having me back.
Now, she's literally back from overseas. She's here for such a short time. And I'm like, by the way, can you drop by the podcast studio if you've got some stories?
And I said I would love nothing more.
Fabulous.
That's honestly why I came back. I was hoping.
Yes. She came all the way back from London just to be on this podcast.
It's been 3
that good.
years
since
I've been able to be back
Where
here.
has that time flown?
COVID, that's where it all melted into one big germy puddle. And then...
A lot has happened since then.
So much.
Now,
My goodness.
we did say to new readers that we're going to be cool and not talk about the rules and all that, but we kind of have to because we have a guest.
The lawyers say that we have to.
It's
blah,
just to
blah,
remind
blah.
our guest. I don't care about the audience. You figure it out your own this week, but to
I
our
have
guest,
no memory of things, so please
you have
do.
zero
I'm a
recollection
goldfish
of
at
this
point.
place. Alrighty. First things first, the people or persons you were talking about before, try and bring an alias would be good.
Not try, do
Oh,
bring an
yes,
alias.
sorry.
Thank you so much.
And in doing that, please know, well, people at home who figure out who Jacqueline's talking about today, and you cyber sleuths, we don't want sharing of information, real names, email addresses, phone numbers.
This is not what we're about. We're
The
here to
endeavour-
learn.
yes,
we're
the-
not here to dox anybody. We're not here to be like armchair super sleuths. That's bullshit. No. And that kind of leads into our next don't be a dick rule. And the whole no threats. So like if you really don't like the person you're talking about,
Yes.
wait till the mics are off and then we can bitch about them all you like. But no threats on mic.
We get some fantastic behind the scenes swearing and threats on this show when the microphones are all off and then they kick off. Yeah, some good behind
One
the scenes
day we'll have
stuff.
like a $50 Patreon level and you can hear all the shit
And
that
they-
we say behind the scenes.
Strictly 18 plus, but that's our guest.
No, that sounds pretty straightforward.
There
Great.
are rules, as we alluded to here on Ghosts of Boyfriends Past. We're not about pitchforks and tearing others down. We try and figure out the facts, and at the end we'll piece together what did we learn. We try and bring education to it rather than just pointing and laughing. There's plenty of pointing and laughing.
Don't get us
plenty
wrong.
Of pointing
So
and laughing.
much
Do not get
pointing.
me wrong, but we try
Many
and we have to
laughing.
try and justify that with a bit of good stuff as
Yes.
well. So that's us. That's a guest.
Now you.
Now me.
Now you.
Cool. I've got a couple for you tonight. The first one, it happened, I would say, first year of the lockdown, and I had been out of my last long-term relationship for a few months, and I thought to myself, it's time to start dating again. So I did all that. Got on the apps, doing all my swipes, found a guy, we shall call him Edgar.
Edgar, okay.
And Edgar was great. Really great, funny. We got along. Everything is working as far as I'm concerned. We meet up. We've met up, I would say, it's a bit far away now, but I think we met up about 2 or 3 times and just like saw a comedy night show together or like had a drink at a bar. Very normal stuff, like really, really good. And then I went out to a party with some buddies and I got so drunk. Like really bad. And it was, I also think I should preface this by saying I was also on antidepressants at the time. And if you've been on antidepressants
Oh,
before,
yeah, I'm nodding
you'll know
knowingly.
what happens when you mix alcohol with those, at least in my case.
Some of them can make you very shit-faced very fucking quickly.
But the thing is, it didn't hit me. It was fine, not fine,
Yep, kept going.
immediately, really quickly. But in the couple of fines before it was not fine, I was drunk texting this guy. We haven't slept together yet. Okay, at this point we've kissed. We haven't done the deed. But I am drunk texting him, like everything you can imagine. And I say something like, oh, I wish you were here. Like, you should come party. Ha, ha, ha. I don't know if I meant that. Anyway, the result was he actually did turn up. He's a sober guy turning up to a party that's winding down, and I'm about one fine away from not fine.
right.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even know if he had a single drink. I'm not even sure. But basically I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel not so good. I need to go home. And being drunk, I was like, you should come, right? Okay. And of course he was like, Jackie's great, I'll go. I'll make sure she gets home safe.
And you've had a couple of
He's
like,
not a stranger.
pretty
We
good
get along
dates.
well. I was planning to sleep with this
Yeah,
man. Like it was going really well. So we get home and I don't have much memory. I think I vomited in the street. I think that I fell in a bush. I got back home and he was with me. We were laughing and that sort of thing. But I'm like, at this point, just Jackie Wallbanger, they call
Yep.
me.
Yeah.
And I'm bouncing off the hallway walls. I'm falling up the stairs to my bedroom. And he's just behind me going, whoa, are you okay? Like, you okay? And we get back to my bedroom. And at this point, I feel like I don't have a very clear recollection. Okay.
Okay.
So I 100% believe that I was like, come get some. Like I 100% will own up to that and say I was giving him all the signals. But I was so drunk that I have no memory of this. And he was sober. So anyway, pretty sure we have sex. I don't remember. And I also just want to say I'm fine. I'm really fine. This is a few years ago.
Good.
I've
Everyone at
dealt
home.
with this. Everything's okay.
Calm down. Yep.
But at the time, I remember snippets. Like I have these, one snippet of like the shirt comes off and then a snippet of having weight on me and like these little flashes of memory. And one of the flashes of memory is looking at my own eyes in the mirror of the bathroom, absolutely like makeup streaked, crying, red. And then in the morning, he is off, like he's a bit weird. And I'm sort of weird as well. Like I'm like, oh, what happened? And he turned to me and he said, well, after we had sex, you came back into the bedroom and were crying and you begged me not to hurt you. Oof. And I was like, I did. I have no memory of this. I have absolutely no memory. Obviously hungover as hell as well. So that didn't help things. And so we were both just a little bit weird that morning. And he was like, oh, I better go. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, I'll see you soon. Like we made plans. And then we did make plans and we made, I think, 3 or 4 dates after that we would go on. And every single time I couldn't stop trembling. Like I was having these anxiety reactions when we would just sit across from each other and talk. I would like my hands would be constantly, there was like this physical expression of something, even though in my brain, I'm like, I like this man. We get along great. I'm enjoying seeing him. But I was just constantly on edge and he would notice, of course, and he would like reach across and kind of hold my hand and be like, are you okay? Like calm down. And it kind of slowly over the next couple of dates, I was like, I'm starting to think that I'm not okay with what happened. And I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying that this is, all your fault. I'm not saying the R word or anything like this, but I have to acknowledge that it's had some kind of effect on me subconsciously or, even consciously, and then I've forgotten it. I don't know, but I just need some space now. So can we just put the brakes on? And long story short, we didn't see each other really again after that, because as I was thinking about it, I was like, how can I make this work when I can't even hold this guy's hand without my heart starting to race, right? And I'm a very level-headed, chill person. This kind of stuff usually like doesn't happen to me. So this is kind of the first time I've really experienced that before. And it made me do a lot of like, ooh, what happened? How can I not let this happen again? I felt guilt as well because I texted him drunkenly and I drunkenly, beckoned him to my boudoir. And, I absolutely probably was like, let's fuck. Sorry, I swear. But I was
have
like,
you listened to this podcast before? We're good. We're good with
I
Sarah.
100% believe I did all those things and gave him all the green lights. But, we talked about this and he did come back to me. I can't remember if it was an email, but I have this memory of him sending me this long email of like explanations of why we should try giving this a shot and like what happened. And he lived with his mum at the time just because, housing in London the way it is.
Hey, I've just moved back in with my parents.
Yeah,
so.
no shame in that. But he talked to her about it. And she was like, you shouldn't have slept with that girl that night. You shouldn't have done it. She was absolutely off her face drunk. You were sober. You shouldn't. And it was the first time as well. So that was the end of it. And it's actually a really sad story because he's not a bad guy, Edgar. Yeah. He's actually a really decent, lovely person. But I feel like it was just kind of just the perfect, series of wrong choices in one night. Nobody's fault, I don't think.
It's it's the perfect example of grey area in the fact that I am firmly of the belief that drunk people can't consent. However, there's a lot of, and the fact that he even talked to his mum about it, like that's introspective, like that's thinking about it, trying to figure out.
Not a bad guy,
Yeah,
thoughtful
I agree.
person.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I just keep going back to that comic that, have you seen that cartoon about consent is like tea?
Yeah, yep.
And if you're drunk, you can't you can't say, you know, if someone goes, I don't want tea, or someone doesn't give you an answer about tea, you can't keep pouring the tea down their throat if they're not able to tell you that they really want tea. Jackie, when you first woke up the next morning and he said to you what had happened last night, that you were crying and you said, don't hurt me, what went through your brain at that moment?
Well, at first, I think my instant reaction is to kind of laugh things off.
Of
like that's
course.
where my brain goes. And just to really ward off the seriousness of the situation. I don't want that to sink in.
Yeah.
And I'm very also about keeping peace between two people.
Of course.
And I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So if, you know, he's saying, he was just like, are you okay? You know, you were really distressed last night. That kind of thing. And then my, I guess, response was to be like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. I was just really drunk. Like, are you okay? Like, I didn't mean to scare you. Like, so, you know, made it about making him a bit more comfortable.
Because also in your heart you were very fuck yes sex before
Absolutely.
the drunkenness as well.
But I think it was the combination as well of being on the antidepressants and then, you know, suddenly I'm getting drunk in a way that I'm not used to.
Yeah.
And having
It
that
becomes
blackout
drunk.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's scary. And that had happened maybe once before when I was with some mates at a party. I was like, party, oh, asleep now.
Yeah.
And I have they had to pick me up and put me in a taxi. And I have this weird memory of them like, you know, going, talk to us, Jackie. Like, how's the? Tell me about this and tell me about that. And me just being like, I have to sleep. I have so weird. So it has happened before, but not in a situation where I've then I've then participated in like physical sex with someone and have no concept of it being in charge of that. And just it happened. I must have been moving. I must have been participating. No memory at all. It's scary.
So there's one more thing that you told me about this when we were having dinner that I also wanted to mention as well. I remember Jackie telling me that she had to be helped to walk up the stairs.
Yes.
That she could not walk up the stairs
Yeah.
by herself, which
I
I
mean,
think
after
is...
getting drunkenly home and then, you know, banging down the hallway, I fell up the stairs more than once. Slipped, fell, giggled, slip, fall, another giggle. He's there behind me kind of helping me get up the stairs. But yeah, at that point, you do look at that and go, this is not someone
Yeah.
who needs to be having sex right now. For
Yeah.
the first time with me.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And there's still that, you know, 10% of me that's going, poor guy.
I know.
um,
but because he's not a bad person.
But I think if you're a good person, that's a mistake you only make once.
Yeah, I do think
yep.
he won't make that mistake. And honestly,
What do we? So
Can we go lessons learned for this story now and then swing round to the...
Absolutely, the lighthearted one.
Well, because I just don't want to... This is quite an important topic
Yeah,
and I don't want to kind of forget what we wanted to say. But my biggest one is that drunk people cannot consent.
yeah,
And I think that we need to, like, there's so much education on you know, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. But for all intents and purposes, Jackie might have well have been going fuck yes,
and
fuck yes.
I think I probably was.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But people with diminished capacity don't have the brain cells active to make those decisions. So I
Yeah.
think you just need to. It's such a grey area, but I blanket think drunk people can't consent.
no, that's quite fair and very important. It's something everyone needs to keep a tab on, an eye out for going forward. Your interactions with someone who's been drinking, maybe they've had more than you, maybe you've had more than them. Well, how are you going to respond to the prompt of sex? Looking at Edgar's behavior, I mean, you guys probably shouldn't have had sex. That's probably the first blanket issue.
I think so.
His behavior after this, he's getting thumbs up across the, like pretty good. How did he do?
Yeah.
Do we reckon?
I think he did the only thing he could do, honestly, which was come forward straight away and say, "You were distressed. Are you okay?" And then, you know, when I needed space from it, went and spoke to his mother about it for advice, and then, you know, really thought about it and then, you know, reached out to me to try and keep it going in a really thoughtful way and, you know, owned up to, I shouldn't have slept with you. You know, is there any way we can get past this? And unfortunately, I didn't think there was. So yeah, I don't think that he will do this again. I honestly think that, he'll go into the next one a bit more responsibly. That's it. I mean, if you're the sober person, you just got to, I guess, step up. Like I like to think that I would maybe do that.
Yeah. Stuff happens when you're both shit-faced, right?
Absolutely.
But there is absolutely a power imbalance when one person is shit-faced and one person is relatively sober. And I think that needs to come into play as well, where like if you are sober and with someone, like that's an absolute blanket no, whereas you can navigate it if you're both a little bit drunk and a little bit horny.
Yeah, I get it.
But if someone can't walk, probs don't have sex with them. That's probably a really good, I mean, unless not in an ableist way, but I'm saying if someone is paralytically drunk to the point where their legs don't walk, then maybe no.
But my inkling is that this was a good boy who fucked up a little bit having sex with a very drunk person, and he'll go back into his shell and study and learn. And he's talked to another woman about it, so he's trying to. I think he'll going forward. He'll correct his missteps.
It's just a sad story.
Yeah.
Because, two good people could have had a fun time and it just kind of ended a bit sad. Yeah.
Now, can I just ask afterwards, were you still anxious about physical touch around other people after that, or was it a him-specific thing?
My instant response is to say, nah, I'm fine. But to be fair, I've only had 2 other flings in that space of time. So my dating life really did drop off a lot after that. I was, it wasn't until I think about a year and a half later that it's not something that I really committed to that. I wasn't like, yeah, absolutely. I'm not seeing no more men. It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
So, that question does make me think, is that related to why I kind of stopped dating so much?
I mean, also COVID lockdowns and people are cesspools in general.
I think it's probably, honestly, like I'm fine. I have a great support system around me. I've talked to lots of friends about it. And I think it just kind of goes down as chalk it up to experience. Next time we'll both know better sort of situation.
And that's kind of why I wanted you to come and tell this specific story is because I think it's very good to hear situations where it's not black and white. We're not using the R word. It's just a situation where consent was not blanket and it was how you manage with a grey area that. Yeah.
No, thank you for story 1 on this week's episode.
That's okay.
It's an important one to hear, and I hope everyone at home will be thanking you for bringing it to us and for being brave to share it.
No
but
worries.
We're going to trickle on to a second story.
Oh yes, it's a bit more lighthearted
to lighten the mood. So it's a sea change. Everybody get a change of clothes.
This is a very funny one that I love to tell. I've told it in my stand-up a couple of times, and it's gone down well. Okay, so this has happened within the last year or so. I met a man on an app, and it was fireworks. It was great, beautiful man. We shall call him Jonah. Beautiful man. And we have all the same, we like the same movies, everything's going great guns. Date 3, I'm at his house. We're watching a film together. We're having like rum and Coke, and it's just going really well. We start to make out.
Delicious.
It's going, and we get, I'm sitting on top of him and I'm pinning him down and I'm like, rawr, and he's like, ooh, it's all great, right?
It's all happening.
So then I'm like, let's move this to the bedroom. Let's do it. And so he's like, awesome. And we go to his bedroom, and I feel kind of silly for not sort of scoping this out before, but we went in and it was absolutely toys, like figurines.
Oh, yes.
Like action figurines.
That's okay.
In their boxes or
No,
outside
just
the
like
box?
on the floor. Like he was playing with them. I don't know.
What else was on the floor, Jackie?
The mattress.
Yes, we love a mattress on the floor.
No
You're
bed
on
frame
Grace the
to
Boyfriend
speak of.
style.
Frame. Liz Best is out of there.
Yeah.
No mood lighting, just the big light, and that's it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which he left on as well. No
So you
candles.
can see all the toys.
Laundry. Yeah, obviously.
You don't want to mood like the
So
toys.
we kind of go in, and I'm like, well, look, we've come this far. So we move to the mattress, and things are going okay. He goes to have a chat with my downstairs landlady.
Yes.
I thought that was a euphemism for a second.
It is. It's very much a euphemism.
Right.
Just small talk at this point,
Yes.
you just got to warm into these things. And he's doing an absolutely fine job, no problem.
Good.
So I'm lying back, I'm enjoying myself. And then I feel his hands start to slide underneath my ham hocks, and like they're getting like an anchor under my body, right?
A wedge
Like
underneath you.
And I'm like, you know what? He just wants a handful. That's it. That's fine. That's no problem. And then he's really getting them under there. And I'm like, okay, that's all right.
He's trying to lift
And
me
then they
there.
kind of like they swivel a little bit, and
And
I'm like,
gestures here are my favorite.
Yeah, man.
and then all of a sudden he's lifted and he's folded me in half like a French omelette. He's just whoop. He's folded me, and my legs have gone
is it
whoop. And my,
So it's a heels overhead back kind of deal.
Heels
All right.
overhead.
Yeah.
My legs have gone that way. My tits have gone bonk bonk into my eyes, and all of the air in my body has gone like just squeezed out of me. And
You've been
the
accordion
big light is shining down, and
This
he's
is why
like,
I don't do yoga, because you can't. It just
honey, I'm 36. My spine doesn't bend that
nothing
way.
moves. Are you kidding?
And I was like, stop. No, I was like, and because it was, and he did, and I was like, what was that? Why did you do that? And he was just like, oh, my neck was starting to get sore. And I was like,
so it's going to break your back.
So I thought I'd fold
there
you in
are
half.
so many things you could have done instead of folding me like a calzone, like a sex fritata, that would have helped your neck in this moment. And we kind of laughed it off at that point. But the rest of it didn't go so great. But so I was like, listen, it's fine. I'll see you next time. There was no next time. But so I go home and I had to Google what happened to me, because I was a little like, where am I? Who am I?
I must inquire. What words
All
do you
right.
put into Google?
I did. Well, what did I put? I put like folded in half sex position. Why?
I'm sure you pages
Question mark.
Yes.
And I would love to show this to you, and maybe you can put it on the. I don't know if you guys put pictures on the
Yeah,
group.
we
or
can put
Yes,
it in
we can figure
the
that out.
That's what it
therapy
was.
group.
That's the.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Can you see
Hold
that?
on. Hold on. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So
a
that's
diagram.
like asshole fully skyward.
Oh, everything in the undercarriage was facing the big light, my love. It was like he was peering down into a cave with a head torch, looking for something.
Have you ever rummaged around the bottom of a handbag?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
my
a Mary
God.
Poppins fucking bag kind of situation.
So that happened to me. And it's called sexpositions.club.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's where I found it. And it's called Sex Position 192.
192.
By the way, 192.
192.
How many do you know, Tom?
Not even 9, not even 2. Let alone 192.
There's
Are you
more
kidding?
than 2. So,
What's
okay.
it called? Sorry?
It's called Dragon, and I don't
Dragon.
quite see it myself.
I don't. How is that a...
No.
I just kind of...
Maybe the legs
The
are
legs
meant to
are
be
the wing.
horns. The wings it could be.
Are they? I
Makes
don't
no
know.
sense
I
to
don't-
me, let me tell you.
I don't know.
So the description, I'll just give you a brief.
Yes, please.
Yes.
In this position, the woman gets very vivid emotions with oral sex, since her body is completely open to both her male partner and herself at the same time. And let me tell you, I was experiencing vivid emotions, so they went wrong. I thought, this is it. This is how they find me. My legs are akimbo, suffocated by my own tits,
The crime scene
dead at
photographer
36
taking
from a sex
photos of
position
you.
called Dragon.
Rigor mortis on your
Anyway.
neck. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So that happened.
It's like the picture. I'm just trying to think of how to describe it. It's like you're trying to do one of those air bicycles, except someone else is pushing you into it and also chowing down on you at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Dinner is
And like,
served.
if I was a young and bendy, springy Bambi of a girl, maybe.
Mayhaps.
Maybe.
Mayhaps.
But I'm not. Anybody who's cast eyes upon me can see at a glance that I do not bend that way.
No.
I don't do well in that position.
Honestly,
Liz.
most people in our 30s don't.
No. So anyway, won't be doing that again
No,
anytime soon.
no, thank you. And I shan't be investigating that one further either.
Well, I'm sure we can put a little picture, a little infographic of that particular move. 192.
Now
in
that'll
our
be
little-
going into the group therapy
Yes, we'll
group.
put
So
that there.
please join up if you want to see it, because I feel like we might get a little bit sensitive if we put it out in the real world.
But desperate to know, what does one learn from this little encounter?
Jackie,
if we're gonna
what
go
does
for
one
again?
learn?
I'm just going to throw in. You can say no at the mattress,
Yes,
the mattress
you
on the
can.
floor. You can say, you can bail out of that.
That's
that
the Liz Best
beforehand.
no.
Yeah.
I think I've learned that any experience can be turned into comedy, and
Yep.
Yes.
I have no regrets for that reason because it makes me laugh.
Oh shit, yeah.
So much.
Oh shit, yeah.
But also that you can also say no at the door once you've seen all the anime figures on the ground.
Hey,
And the
look,
bed frame
I'm not trying to.
missing
No, I am trying to. The bed frame thing, I've got a strong. That's a boundary for me. But I know a lot of people who have
Action
figurines,
figures
and that's
figurines,
okay.
but put them on a shelf.
Yeah, display them. Don't look like you've just been having some kind of battle in the middle of
Yeah.
the mattress.
More than happy
foreground.
for you to have collectibles.
Yes.
I have 2 Funko Pops, but you can definitely do that. But maybe in preparation for a lady visitor, but perchance to
Yeah.
dust your bedroom. a
Tidy
little
your
bit.
room.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, get a fucking lamp and a bed frame.
that's the other one.
That's my
Boys,
lesson.
Get a lamp. Mood lighting goes a long, long way.
Overhead lighting is harsh and unforgiving.
Yep.
Always lamp.
Yes,
always.
my friend. You might want to look at the beautiful woman under the light, but do you think she wants to see all of you?
No.
Nuh-uh. There are crooks and crevices and nooks and crannies on everybody. That
Oh, he
doesn't
saw
need,
them all.
That doesn't need the full sun salute.
He looked
as
deeper
you-
into my soul than anyone I've ever looked into. My God.
Oh, it's funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's funny.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
funny.
Good palate cleanser, right? Yes.
Yes, wonderful palate cleanser.
Good.
Jackie, thank you so much for coming all
Yes,
the way from
superstar.
England
Yes.
to be on our lovely little podcast.
No worries.
We're going to bring Jackie back for another episode. We don't know if it's going to air directly after this one, or maybe we might be shifty and
But it might do when we have these guests that have these great stories and they're in town for only a brief time. We have to grab them, so you will hear them. You will hear Jacqueline again in the future.
Can't wait.
everybody. Very
absolutely.
good.
In the meantime, if you want to see the dragon without googling it,
Now,
don't
that's-
Google it.
that's not-
Spoiler
That's
surprise.
not-
your own good.
That's not Jacqueline's live show. That's,
Oh my God, you totally 192 Dragon.
that's it.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, join our Ghosts of Boyfriends Past group therapy group. That's where we get people offering advice, asking for advice, posting memes, posting sex positions now, I guess.
Yes. Yep.
That's maybe what we do now. Please join Ghosts of Boyfriends Past group therapy. If you love our show, tell someone about it. Tell someone at work about it. Have a chat about an episode. If you still haven't rated or reviewed us somewhere, what are you doing?
Someone you know is looking
What are
for
you
something
doing?
to do to let their life slip away in front of their eyes. That thing can be Ghosts of Boyfriends Past.
That thing should be Ghosts. So that's what I do with this podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Just pass the time away.
No.
Otherwise, jump on the internet. I'm not going to give you direct directions. You'll figure it out. Go to that'snotcanon.com. There's podcasts galore on that little
I
website.
feel like that was direct directions. You literally gave them the address.
No, I'm not going to go to the computer, open up the thing, put your password in. Yes.
HTTP.
Yes, http. Yes, find a podcast there. There's
So many.
You'll find
So
something. Spread the
many.
love, but keep coming back to Ghosts of Boyfriends Past. I'm Tom Harris, and across from me is Elizabeth Best. I think that might just about do us. Thank you for listening, and go well, everybody. Just go well.
La la la